How about now?
All right, third time's a charm. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, sorry, our Starlink's been really acting up, and so I don't know what's going on with it, but Elon to save the day. But
Hey, you
I
are
think we're
much
here. We
you're
should.
much clearer. You're actually your
Okay.
video is much clearer.
Okay. Perfect. We should be we should be good to go then. We should be good. I think we've worked out all the kinks this time.
Okay, and
But
do
yeah,
this.
like
Give it a because there's a delay. Whenever you finish talking, just wait for a second because it's just taking a little time to catch up to you and vice versa.
all right. That sounds good. Well, uh, give us a little sit rep on what's been going on, what you've been doing the last several days, what your job has been here, and what the future is like for. I'm sure this devastated community. I mean, this is our home away from home, and so it's really hard to see it in the state that it's in. But I'm sure, unfortunately, the death toll will only continue to increase, and so just kind of walk us through what you've been seeing.
Yeah, so the day one, July 4th, went lit out of here after we got the call. Coordinated with EOCs, that's Emergency Operations Centers local, and then got linked up down there with the state EOC center in Kerrville. That's in Kerr County, Texas, along the Guadalupe corridor. And the first calls came out with a Camp Mystic, which is a little further out in Hunt. But as we were coming in, because the way we drove in, Comfort was the first area that we reached. So we went to Comfort and we helped to coordinate all the teams that were on their way in. So these are civilian teams that I worked with in North Carolina. And so that's what I did there. So I sat down on the ground at a friend's house and used it. It was pretty much a downpour. Not much for us to do outside until we got fidelity as to where was the main place for us to go. And so we developed that. We got the teams inbound. They started coming in from all over, from Fort Bragg. We're talking about special operators from Camp Lejeune, from MARSOC guys, retired and active in the reserve system, and a couple of guys actually on active duty that came in a little bit later. They took a little bit of leave time. They're from Texas, so that's great. They came down to help. They know the area. And what they do is they specialize in maritime operations, so that's important. We're on a river, and it was a fastly flowing river, right? So first reports come out of Hunt. We hear that the Camp Mystic was hit, completely washed out. Same thing happened in Kerrville at the Blue Oak RV park where we ended up. Me personally, our team, because they just didn't have any hands there yet, and so our team went in, very small team. Two of us, and then you guys showed up and helped us in the evening. It was great. And we did what we call rescue and recovery operations, search and rescue, SAR. So the first part of these things is always recovery. We want to get to the live people first, and then the rescue, sorry, and then recovery. That's the bodies, people that have been deceased. So we did pull some out today. The team's on the ground there. I understand you're on your way there now. So that's what we're doing. I do have a report, but yeah, are you guys close to that location yet?
Yeah, so we actually we drove up through Comfort, and then we drove through Center Point, and then we're just south of Kerrville right now, and so we have a family ranch out here just west of Kerrville, and so we often take the route of Comfort and then going through Center Point, and then that takes us. It's like a shortcut to our family's ranch, and so we know that area very, very well. And it was just incredible to see the amount of destruction. I understand. I think, like you were just saying, that they pulled out I think, two little girls from the tops of trees today, which is incredible. I can't even believe they're still alive. It's been over 2 days, 2.5 days
Yeah.
almost, and I don't know how you can do that, but that's incredible, the human will. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah, exactly. To understand, when you get information from the ground, so we get it firsthand because we got teams on the ground. It was not one of our teams that found them, but it was one that reported it. It hasn't made its way up to the top. It takes a while to get to the state level. So they're saying it's an unconfirmed report. We'll find out, but that's where we're at. I trust
Okay.
the guys that were there. They got it firsthand from a different team. But yeah, it's a labor of love, but it's also heartbreaking. You know, when you're dealing with just anybody, but children especially, it is heartbreaking. And there was a mom and a daughter that were brought out today that did not make it. Right there at the place that we were at last night with you guys. Um, you know, the team went back in today, and that's where they started from where we were. So they're in there doing that right now. One of the divers went in underwater, and he got in there and pulled them out. So that's going to be once they're identified, some comfort, you know, in the form of, you know, understanding that there's a family member that's been identified, but it's going to be extremely difficult on the counseling side. There are counselors in the area that are available at one of the shelters there. So law enforcement is going to handle that side of it, and they'll get them to that location. So, but one thing I want to do is I want to give like a quick sit rep as to what's happening right now. But this is as of 16:30 hours, 4:30. So it's been 2 hours since this one came out, but this is the last one. So what I do as a coordinator, call it command and control, if you will, but more just collection of information, is I get the information from the teams, multiple teams, and I put it out. Right? That's what I've been doing, and we were able to get this information out to the national level yesterday primarily, and we're continuing on X, you know, on Doc Pete Chambers on X, because that's my website, or that's my social media I primarily use. So I'll give you that now if you want. I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
What's our time hack here? Are we good for time?
Yeah, we're good for time. We don't. I mean, we're on your schedule. We don't have a set time for really anything.
Okay.
It's your schedule.
All right. So I'm gonna put that out. This was at 1600 today, Central Standard Time, 06 July 2025. We're still in a critical level 1 emergency, monitoring these stations. Okay. So this is now I'm going to talk about the stations. So high risk zones, Kerr County, Guadalupe River, flash flood system may shift from Brady, Brownwood into Kerrville. So today we had another flash flood, a warning. And so I don't know, you guys can tell me, you're looking at the river right there. I came back to refit, so I'm in my command and control bunker from my trailer. But have you seen the water come back up from what it was yesterday?
Yes, we were driving by, and it's incredible. We were driving on one of those access roads behind Center Point, and we yeah, again, like I said, we've always driven that route, and it's densely packed together wooded area, and it was just completely flattened. Everything was gone, and it was really incredible to see the amount of destruction. But it did look like the river was flowing a good bit more than what we saw yesterday. I don't think it's quite crested from what they've said it's going to happen today, but it looks like that it is continuing to rise somewhat right now. And so I don't know how much it's
Okay.
going to rise.
Yeah,
We'll have to.
yeah, that's good information for me. What about precipitation? What do you guys got coming in right now?
That's a good question. I haven't checked. Let me check right now. Yeah, it's currently not raining right over us, but
Okay.
it's said it has been raining. There, yeah, again, there's flash flood warnings just north of here. Considerable damage expected. Let's see, 2 to 4 inches have fallen, and so I'm sure that the water is just steadily, again, running off the hills and making its way into that chute that we saw. And so currently it shows no actual rain, no more actual rain. And so I think those storms have dissipated. Now it's shifting more towards the San Antonio area, I-35 corridor. And so I think for
Okay.
here, the rain should be done. And so I think once this last wave hits, hopefully that's the end of it.
Okay, that's good information. Yeah, thank you from my side. So I'll go on with this brief. So other counties that are affected, Travis County, specifically Onion Creek, Barton Creek, they're at critical levels, but there's no, most people are not camped out. It's not 4th of July anymore, so that's a good thing. You know, those folks will be okay right now. So Ingram, Hillside runoff, flash flooding going on there. Creeks are over the banks. Once again, no threat to life there. They've been evacuated a while back. Erath and De Leon counties roads are flooded in Stephenville. that's way up there, right? Stephenville's just, kind of on the way up to the Red River, but there is still active flash flooding going that way because this is a band that's been over us for now. Gosh, it was 16 hours when we let out last night of just a solid cloud structure that was circulating like a hurricane. Um, so now I'll give you what I got here on the active flood warnings. Kerr County, Ingram, where we were last night, valid until 18:30 tonight. So right now, we're looking at. So our teams that were there pulled up earlier when we got we called it a net call. So I put out a net call and saying, hey, get up to higher ground. The state did the same thing at the same time. Multiple people were talking about it. There's an app out there on Zello. They're talking on radio, telling people real time as well. That's good. Our guys speak by push to talk sat phones, so that's how we talk. Sometimes satellite, as you know, you're working off of Starlink. When you have clouds that are overcast like that, it can mess with you a little bit. Although they are fairly robust, you can still get some comms that get kind of slowed down a little bit and might come across as garbled, as we call it. So flood watches in north central, even up to Dallas and Tarrant County. Flood watches all the way up to Dallas. So it's starting to move up further north. San Jacinto River in Harris County, that's way over there in Houston area. And then, of course, the Guadalupe, that's where we're concerned with right now as far as our teams. So when we look at roads infrastructure impact, we're looking at Highway 10 and then Highway 35. So the notable areas are going to be Katy, Barton Springs, Loop Road 360. There will be patches of just straight up. It's going to be the concern will be hydroplaning for people that are on highways. That's not a concern for us, but these are just I'm covering everything. So dams and reservoirs, this is important. Barker Reservoir at Harris, way over there, it's intact, doing well. Canyon Lake, I'm getting reports under there. It's still under surveillance. They're doing okay. Guadalupe and Comal County, they're monitoring those dams and reservoirs, because if those spill over, that's a concern. And then, of course, the structural integrity is something that they watch. There are monitors that are built into that system. They'll tell people if there's any problem. Kerrville and Ingram bridges over the Guadalupe, and then the Brazos River, Fort Bend, way out of the picture here, but they're being monitored. Okay, so now when we're talking about critical facilities and evacuation areas, so this is the next thing on my sit rep, elderly care areas. There are 12 facilities of elder care, nursing homes essentially, across Kerr, Travis, and Harris. All of them are being monitored. They're not being evacuated, but based upon their proximity to the river, that's what they would be, and they're built that way, further up like that for a reason. So they should be okay. Camp Mystic, obviously, Hunt Ingram, full evacuation of those low-lying river areas, as we know that. Now this is the sad news. Fatalities, 79 statewide right now being reported, 59 in Kerr, 8 in Travis. Missing 40 plus, including 11 girls and one counselor near Ingram, and additional family groups are unaccounted for. So yesterday, when we were there at that landing there at Ingram, it was specifically one gentleman that was there with the EOC, but he was actually out of Harris County. His family went downstream in their pickup truck. They were sleeping in it. It had a camper on the back. They were there for a rodeo in town, and they're still missing. I think it was a 10-year-old son. It was his nephew, his sister, and his brother-in-law. So they're still out there. I'm not at liberty to give the names, but the rescue workers know, and they have pictures of them, and they'll be able to identify. I pray that there's a chance, that they're still out there somewhere. Rescues executed, 237 statewide, 237 rescues. 50 in Ingram and Kerrville, 50 plus. Evacuations, 2,000 plus in Kerrville and Ingram. Evacuations. Warnings were issued for Brownwood. Now, Brownwood is kind of up there, but it's just because of the flash flood effect of it. It's a very flat, dry place, but it has some I've trained out there. It has some hill structure, kind of like the hill country, and it can run down and it can flash flood in an instant. So low water crossings for vehicles. I don't care if you got a four-wheel drive and you got a three-quarter ton axle. That truck will get washed away if you reach mid to the upper level of your tires if you're not careful. It's running fast enough. So don't chance it. Utility interruptions, 50,000 plus outages as of 4:30 today with regard to power in Kerr, Harris, and Travis. Response teams, I mean, gosh, we could speculate that there's over 1,500 response personnel on the ground to include locals, SAR, that's us, search and rescue, FEMA, Texas National Guard, U.S. Coast Guard. I'm sure y'all guys saw the Delphine helicopter that went out. That's the orange painted National Guard helicopter. They did, I think, one guy alone on the hoist yesterday did nearly or maybe over 100 hoist rescues just yesterday alone. That's people that were stranded out there in the periphery. They dropped this hoist down, and it's called a JP. So it's a JP hoist. It's jungle penetrator. It's able to get through triple canopy if it has to. Lots of foliage, and then there's a seat on it. There's 4 seats on it, and you can actually hook up and put a big device around the person to secure them, and then lift them out. So they did that. So I've done those kind of operations before in the military as a flight surgeon for sure. Weather and atmospheric conditions, we're still looking at a high ceilings, but also just kind of a mist across the area. And then, as you said, rain just kind of let up, so it's clearing. But it's it's 77. It's extremely humid. Lots of possibility for dehydration, especially for the workers. I was on the edge of it yesterday. Joe was on the edge of it yesterday. My dog, literally, it plays with your mind. We're used to it, but it's never, it's something you got to remember to stay hydrated if you're out there working in this stuff. So brown water alert. Okay, now this is my request. I need you fellas to get some bottle waters. I mean, clear, just empty the water out into your canteens and get those bottles. And I need 2 or 3 samples from all the brown water areas in that location. Okay, so just start grabbing them up. Put the grid coordinate on it. Just write it with a Sharpie or just the location, and then the date time stamp group. And then we're going to deliver those to Mike Adams, Health Ranger. He has a mass spectrometer. He will be able to evaluate those for any heavy metals. We want to see if there's anything in that. Soil as well. If you can get soil from the same area and put it in a separate bottle, and water in the other one, and then kind of match them up and just say A and B or W, and I mean you'll be able to see it's soil, but just make sure that they stay together, numbered, one of each: soil, water, and probably just 5 good areas. That's all we need. I didn't want to put this out for everybody, but you guys are, you know what you're doing, and you know the area better than anybody else. You know it like the back of your hand. So that would help me out a ton. But for anybody listening, I don't need thousands of bottles of water. You guys, that's your task only, honestly. It would help us tremendously. It'll help the state, and it'll help bring some fidelity if there's anything that's toxic in the ground. Just like North Carolina, when we had the oil spills and all those kind of things, chemicals and things like that. All right, Remnant Ministry, for us specifically, we had a handoff with Heroes for Humanity. You guys met those fellows yesterday. Solid guys. Dennis Price is the one I see over there. He handed off to Chase, John Chase. He's a MARSOC guy as well. Those guys are handling it. They're the ones jumping in the water. They're half my age and a lot more experience in the water, so that's great to have them on board. They'll be there for 5 to 7 days, possibly a follow-on mission with them. We rotated out to refit. We'll be back on scene when we can get down there Wednesday. We're just commanding, like I said, command and control. Okay, so additional weather threats: severe weather, low to moderate tonight for north central panhandle. Winds and some strong cells are possible in the panhandle area. That's further up from us. We don't have to worry about it. Command. Okay, so life safety command priorities, very important. Evacuations: Ingram, Kerrville, mandatory high ground evaluation. Galveston, another situation down there. 2200. So 10 o'clock at night to 06 in Galveston. Storm cells have moved that way. It's widening, and it's moving out southeast and north. Public communications alerts are being pushed out through KPRC, KXAN, KSAT, and weather report stations. So we will continue to monitor. We'll get it out where we can, but the other stations are doing exactly what they normally do. Always measure twice to cut once, though, because sometimes those reports, to me, I'd rather have direct information from the ground. That's just the way I work. All right, summary. Here's your summary, and then command directive will be next. Focus remains on Kerr, Ingram, Travis, with ongoing catastrophic flooding, flash floods warnings across Erith, and widespread emergency actions. All current flood warnings and watches are now documented to ensure no high-risk areas are overlooked. Now, specifically, I'm going to play this. I want you to hear it. You let me know if it comes through clear. This was just sent to me from a lady in this little area. I'm getting all kinds of messages here, but I'm trying to focus. Here we go. I'm going to play this real quick. See if you can hear it.
Hey, good morning. I'm hoping this
Can you hear it?
The news media, KXAN, or the
Yes.
My name is Robert Gallagher. I live in Sandy Creek. We have 10 plus missing people. We have 40 houses that are washed away. We have no cell service, no internet, no water, no sewer, no anything. I'm in HEB right now trying to get goods for my.
Y'all know what that is?
To the best of my ability to help them out, but I need
Yes.
this to get out to the news
Okay.
media. We do not have any coverage in our area. Again, I can be reached with my number here. I normally would not. We have very little.
I think we got the gist of it there, but Sandy Creek. Okay, so they've not had a lot of response out there. They don't have any communications. Their cells down. Sandy Creek. If somebody could just go out there, and people listening, let them handle this. You know, you guys are on your tasker right now for our guys in that location because they may need some help logistically. But I would say Sandy Creek, somebody needs to get over there and take a look at this. This just got sent to me, so I just
Wow.
wanted to put that out. I didn't have time to put it in the report here. So command directive, look, authorities are out there. Listen to what they say. You know, they're giving us information as best they can. They're overtaxed as well, just like we are. But proceed with immediate rescue, evacuation, and Kerr, Ingram, and maintain a level of maintain levees, reservoir stability. That's for people that are out there watching that, and report those as quick as possible, and report nationwide or statewide. That's the end of the sit rep, guys. But hopefully that's as concise and as succinct as I can give you from my standpoint. That's our probably we were doing those yesterday about every couple 3 hours, but we're cutting the number down right now as we're praying that this thing does not increase.
Yes. Pray. Yes, we just pray. Keep praying. Going back real fast to the water and mud samples, I've seen. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I've seen some reports that cut several days ago, water coming from the sky, the rain was blue, number one, and then I've also seen that like this storm that just happens to happen in the middle of July, which is supposed to be one of our driest months. I mean, it just dumps 20 inches of rain. I mean, how does that happen? That almost doesn't seem natural. Like, I'm not saying that it was a weapon, but
Yeah.
I mean, you can't overlook anything, I think, at this point. And so you just got to question everything.
I'll answer that best way I can. So your transmission right when you were saying that came across garbled. I got about every third word, but I understood what you were saying. So blue water, I did see those reports. It was collected up in some tarps and things like that were on the ground. I did see a couple of areas where there was fuel, it looked like, in the ground. That might have been from RVs that were tumbling along. You know, as some RVs like mine does carry a fuel tank on it for, this one's a toy hauler. That can happen. But we've got to look at the samples will tell us the truth, right? Because the samples will be exact. But yeah, I've seen a few of those reports. I just don't know. You know, it's kind of one of those things. Like I say, you know, you just can't. I just can't know. But we will know. That's the point. So when we can get that in the mass spec, we'll be able to pull up exactly what it is.
Yeah, that sounds good. Also, I just can't help. I can't get out of my head the fact that, like, not a lot of people knew that this was coming, and as a result, not a lot of people got out in time. And we know that there's flood sirens in other parts of Texas and around the country. I know the Comal River has flood sirens, and so I'm just thinking, why does the most flood-prone area in the United States, this corridor right here, why do they not have flood sirens or alternate means of getting alerts that a major flood is coming besides just a warning on your phone? Because as you know, I mean, 4th of July, everyone's up till probably 2 a.m. and I mean, then they're sleeping hard and
Right.
all that stuff. And if you get a little buzz on your phone, I mean, a lot of people probably won't, uh, they probably won't get the message. And by the time they wake up, their trailer or their house is in the middle of the river collapsing around them. And then by that
Right.
time, unfortunately, it's
Yeah,
probably
this is
too
something.
late.
Yeah, this is something I ran into as a sheriff deputy on the Red River. I was a reserve deputy for a while, and of course, tornadoes come through. The tornado sirens go off, and so we would go down and hit specifically trailer parks because that's an extremely dangerous place to be. And you only got like one little restroom that's made of concrete, and everybody hunkers down in it. But that was our job, was to drive out there and to notify them. So I don't know why, Kerr County didn't institute that as far as getting deputies out there and saying, hey, get on the bullhorn if you don't have horns out there. But there's got to be a PACE system. And when I say that, a primary and an alternative contingency emergency, get out there, beep your horns, and say, everybody, let's go. I've done that numerous times for tornadoes during the tornado season. So that is something that they should have learned from 1987, the last time this large storm came down through there and washed out another camp of kids in a campground. Same situation, but nowhere near as devastating. This is historic. This is beyond historic. And then on top of it, to have a cell sitting on top of it for now, it seems like over 24 hours. I guarantee you, it's over 24 hours right now because we're sitting here watching it, and I'm looking out, here, and I'm an hour away, and it's literally just downpour right now here. So, thunder kicking off, and there's no excuse for ineptitude in the fact that if you don't know that your people are not safe or are safe, then you need to get your vehicles and use those sheriff deputy vehicles for what they're meant for. And I'm not dissing them, but that you've got to have a PACE plan. You can't just sit on your hands on things like this. So I've done that job, so I can call that out.
Yep. I mean, yeah, like what you were just saying. I've seen some pretty big floods here since I've been alive, since I can remember, but nothing even comes close to what has happened. And so, where we were at yesterday, I think Blue Oak or Big Oak.
Blue Oak.
There was the Blue Oak. There was like 90 campers that were on that one site, that one RV site. 90 campers and like 30 townhomes, RV bungalows gone. And so I just don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm just really concerned that this missing or casualty toll may go through the roof, because I mean, a lot of these people may not have people that contact them regularly, or they're just under the mud. And then if that happens, as you probably saw in North Carolina, there's probably no getting to them if they're under 5 feet of mud, especially with this new wave coming in.
Yeah, and these are the things that after this is over, we have to have what's called an AAR, an after action review. And they need to listen to the citizens and go, what did we do right? What did we do wrong? How can we sustain what is good? And how can we train on what we didn't do right? Because that's the only way we'll move forward. And there will be a time for that, right? And we can talk about all the things just like this that aren't going to be helpful when we're trying to be, we're all citizens together. It doesn't matter whether you wear a uniform or not as an officer, a patrolman or a deputy or a DPS trooper. You were standing right there when the troopers shoot us away, the search and rescue guys looking for bodies on the river. I mean, you can't make this stuff up sometimes. And sometimes it's just a knucklehead out there doesn't know what he's doing. But that can't be the norm, right? In a situation like this, but those things will all be exposed in the sense that we're going to AAR it. I will. I know these guys. They'll listen, and nobody. I don't like AARs when I mess up, right? But I like to improve. So we will have. You don't have to like it. You just got to do it. I mean, that's a saying we got. You don't have to like it. You just got to do it. You could be tired. Just do it tired. I mean, this is a situation where it's all hands on deck, and I don't care about your feelings at that point. So we'll get there. We don't want to spend a lot of time belly aching. I'm the last one to do that, but I will provide solutions in the AAR phase of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got anything? Yeah. You got anything, Brady? You got anything?
Um,
Um, What would you suggest the listener do for the next 24 to 48 hours? Well, how can they help? Who's the listener? I mean, it depends if the listener's here in Kerrville or the listener's over in
Yeah,
Georgia. Either way.
yeah. Okay, so I'll give you the tactical viewpoint, what's on the ground to do, and then all the way up to the strategic level. The higher level, operational at least. On the ground there, it's going to be to make a hand, right? You make a hand. You go out and help somebody if you can. Just keep in mind, safety first. So don't be traveling if it's downpour, lightning, anything like that. Assist law enforcement where you can. Um, they should accept it. There are certain sensitive things when it comes to pulling bodies out of a river. We do that, right? That's what we do at our level. But for those folks right there, prepare, right? Now, not now is not the time to prepare, but still, don't go out there and hoard things off the shelves. But be willing to give what you've got. If you've got something, share it, right? Share it with your neighbors. Check on your neighbors, right? Go check on them. If you don't know so and so down the road, at least go out there and try to meet so and so that you can confirm that they're okay. Put some other people in front of yourselves, and that really trickles up, right? So that's from the ground up, and then from the higher level stuff. If you're more capable or you have some experience, you may be retired military, retired law enforcement. Make a hand once again. Use your expertise to go over to the EOCs and help out, but don't get in the way. If they need hands, they will have a coordinator. There are people that coordinate the search and rescue teams and the civilian groups. If they don't have that, just step off and then create one yourself. So go back and say, okay, I'm going to take 4 or 5 people, just like we did, and we started with 2, me and Matt, and we have hundreds now that are working with us, and I'm working with and orchestrating on my side. I'm a lot more experienced at this, but that's because that's the way God made me, and that's the experience I've got. So I'm going to use that for a moment such as this. And you guys are doing the same thing and stepping in the gap. And your dad is an amazing guy, and he's helping me on the backside with backside support. And that's what the older guys do is we use our brains, and when we have to use our bodies, I come back last night and you guys saw me go down that hill. Um, yeah, it was quite a slide, but everybody turned out okay, so we're good to go.
Yep. I think that Chinook is flying over our head again right now, so they must have.
Yeah, those are some of our Texas National Guard guys. They're coming out of San Antonio, and another unit down there closer to southeast San Antonio over there. But yeah, I've been talking to those guys on the phone. I got 2 UH-60, well, they're MH-60s. They're the Mike models, fly Casevac. So Casevac is basically medical. It just depends on what kind of package you got on board. But there's 2 of them in the area that'll be running around too.
Will they just be helping recovery at this point? I mean, I know we found 2 little girls today, but I think at this point, for all intents and purposes, the rescue is probably over.
Yeah, it is in many ways, but we don't ever give that up, right? Because that's why everybody in the crew in the back of a chopper is always looking out the door, right? When we fly in the back, or if I'm flying in the front, I'm always keeping an eye out on anything on the ground that's moving, because you can find somebody to make it days and days and days. That's going to decrease over time, but we've got to keep that up. But then when people get on the ground, like our guys, and call out and say, okay, we've got a remote location where there's a body here, that's when they'll be called into those specific grid coordinates as they're sent out.
Okay, that's good to know. Well, I'm sorry. Where can people donate? Oh yeah. Tell us, where can people give and donate? I know there's a big need for that here.
I'm gonna say two places. One, really right now, the ones on the ground, we rotated out. Heroes for Humanity. I want to make sure that those guys get covered down on, because they're out there in the field now. They're going to need a refit like we are. And then for us, it's the remnantministrytx.org. So we need a refit as well. We've been blessed, and we will continue to use that. 100% of it goes to operations. We don't get paychecks. We come up with solutions and we make them happen, but that requires diesel in the tank, right? And then all the support mechanisms. I'll say this. I said it on Bannon the other day. I said, look, good generals talk strategy. Great generals talk logistics. You can't do any of this without the logistics, and that, because we are not a government entity, comes from you the people. We work for the people, right? We are your public servants. We're just not wearing a uniform.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, again, there's a big need for all that. So everyone, please go donate. And it's gonna be a long road to recovery, and in a lot of aspects, nothing will be the same again. But all we can do is move forward and just come out stronger than before, and make sure something like this does not happen again, because it's unacceptable what happened, and it cannot happen again. It's happened too many times, and it just can't happen again.
Well, we will AAR it once again, after action review, and then we will conduct that with them, with them. I'm talking about them being, the federal and state government, really more right now, local, or without them, and we'll do it in the court of public opinion. It would be a lot easier for them if they just listened to us, but sometimes pride steps in the way, and we'll deal with that. I mean, I've got enough good ears of good people that will listen, and I'll AAR it with them.
That's awesome. Yep. Well, thank you, Doc. Sorry this went a little longer than I had originally told you, but we really appreciate your time. We know it's very valuable, and I know so many people, directly or indirectly, are super thankful that you're out here. You were just nonstop, no sleep, and just doing what you do best. And so many people I know, and we are too. I mean, I am too. Very grateful that you're willing to get into the mud even if you don't get the recognition, and that's the virtue of a strong man.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. And for those people out there that did say that to you, or anybody that's feeling that, look, you are worth it. You are God's children. Every one of you is worth it, whether you believe in Him or not. You are worth it.
That's right.
Amen to that. Well, thank you, Doc. I'm sure we'll see you and reconvene soon, and we'll get you into the actual Centurion studio soon to get a proper interview. This is just it's supposed to be a short little sit rep, but don't worry, we'll get you in there soon.
That's okay. You send me the link, and I'll post it to you, because it's going to help some people.
Awesome.
Yes,
That's the whole purpose of this. That sounds good. Thank you, Doc. We'll see you soon.
God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.